It's me, Mario!
Welcome back to part 3 of the Evilslothman Q A.
You can prove it can count.
Fuck you. Here's a tough one for you to think about.
Oh god.
Peter Griffin or Homer Simpson, who's better? And why?
I'd say Peter Griffin. Basically, I haven't been the biggest fan of The Simpsons for a long, long time. I just thought it got very stale a long time ago, and it's just rehashing of old jokes or going quite naff at the moment. I thought of Simpsons. Whereas Family Guy was always that in its intention. I always liked Peter Griffin. It was just fun.
He should have, right?
This is my favourite line from that. It's just like the bit where he has Drew Barrymore says, my son wishes to plough you. It was a funny episode. He's got up to the teacher, it was funny.
Whatever. Do you drink beer? And if you do, what is your favourite brand?
Oh, it's like a lot of things here. I never actually give one answer. I give a multiple of like 5 that I would go for.
I mean, just be as honest as you can.
Yes, I drink beer. Yes, I like it a lot. Usually I stick with kind of European or foreign beers. It's more with I hate Tennent's with my whole passion of my body.
Why?
But I don't know. I just don't like the taste of it.
That's as good a reason as any.
But it's like I like Heineken, Beck's, I like Tiger Beer, I like Asahi from Japan, like Kirin Ichiban. I used to quite like Miller, but I've seemed to have gone off that. And Kronenberg. So basically a lot of them kind of beers. It's kind of like very Central European kind of beers.
Ugh.
Heineken's Dutch, isn't it? Never mind. Onward.
That's my job to say. Have you ever travelled outside the country?
Yes.
Okay, that's a good
No,
answer
okay.
for that.
Right, I have travelled a lot when I was younger because my dad was in the RAF, so we moved to Germany when I was 5. So I lived in Germany, and from there we went to France, we went to Belgium, we went to Holland, we went to Denmark. I've been back to France since. I went to a camping holiday. I've been over to Florida when I was about 14. I went last year, I went out to Canada, I went out to Vancouver and Vancouver Island. Yeah, I've been around. I want to head over to do a tour like the Far East, so I'm really jealous of Lefarius going off. It's annoying me. Going to Japan
You should pronounce his name properly.
Probably didn't actually. I bet you played it before.
It is the Far East, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
The Far East. Good.
Mm.
Don't kill us if it's wrong. Right. If you would be willing to spend $500, that's approximately £305.50 on a rare system, would you do it? Would you spend that much?
You converted it!
Of course I converted it. I'm a nerd. the tie is a Dalek that talks.
Yeah.
I won't put you through it, but it talks. And I got the specs.
I've been tempted. I think at the moment, just the amount of money that I'm earning, it's not really feasible to say blow 350 quid on a console. If I was earning a lot more money, I could be persuaded. I've seen things that have tempted me quite heavily. I really like the look of, like, say, the 64 disk drive, which we saw for a very cheap price, and then somebody went really extortionately bought it. It was like, you bugger.
Was it so? It didn't even reach the end of the time either.
No, that was the thing. It had the time limit, and then somehow ended it.
Like sort of 3 days early.
Yeah. It was just like, sold.
Whoever you are, you bastard. Okay, and this is one that we thought about in primary school quite a lot.
Okay.
How would you design a next-gen console? What would you call it? And what peripherals would you add to it? This is going back a bit, I know.
It is going back a bit. The one we could talk about in primary school was more we made up this console that was all to do, it was like called the Golden Eagle or something.
Yeah.
It was very much...
Or at least that was the name of the company. I really can't remember that well.
It was to do, it was before or around when the N64 just come out. I seem to remember.
Would have been before that.
I know there was thoughts before that, but I was like thinking, I think the main thing for a console was about that time, because it was definitely 3D graphics over 2. But on a modern day console, I think, realistically speaking, you know it's going to have to be digital download, because that's exactly where the industry is going. Everything's like a stopgap, and even though the PSP Go is not selling well, it's probably more than likely going to be digital distribution, which I'm not entirely in favour of, but I could see it. If they did something like, you know how Apple does that LP stuff, and they have like the cliff notes and special videos and features put on with the game, and they try to incorporate something like that into games. Like you actually bought that, then you get like the manual or text notes, but it's got like themed backgrounds to relate to the game. Then that would be a bit better.
Just little touches.
I'd like to see something more virtual reality based, but I think that's...
Do not mention virtual reality.
But I have...
It just brings back horrible flashbacks of a certain console.
But I think done better with actually getting the techniques right, actually work with the graphics so it's more of an immersive experience. But I think that's going to be a few generations away, more than one. I'm not entirely in complete faith of the motion controls. I'm not completely hooked on it yet. The Wii's not completely sold me. Any great game on the Wii is more to do with holding the controller in a 2D fashion. Something like the Paper Mario on the Wii, or Mario Kart putting in the GameCube controller, as well as Smash Brothers. And I've not found a game yet that's like the Wii's completely sold me on motion controls, and I've yet to see anything off 360 or with the Project Natal or PS3 that's completely sold me on that. So I think it would have to be still a standard controller. Graphics would have to take a little bit of an extra boost, as they always will do. But I think they'd have to either standardise it a little bit, because the differences between the 360 and the PS3 are always meaning differences, and it's a bit weird.
Also, if you were to make your next-gen console, roughly how much would you put it on the market at?
You'd have to stick it on, I think about 300 is probably about your limit. I think anything more kind of kills it. It's like the 360 when it came out was what, about 350, 300? It wasn't, it was around that. Whereas the PS3 was fucking extortionate. Even now it's about, what, down at 250 I think, at its base, its model now is about 250, even on a slim model.
After that in-depth analysis and creativity, we'll take another break and join us later for what will be the final part of the Evilslothman Q A.
Well, hello there. Are you hungry? Well, come on down, phone up, dial a sandwich. Here, our purpose-built building. we have the greatest amount of kitchen staff the world has ever met. As you can see, we have copious amounts of salt and pesto, making our sandwiches the greatest tasting on the internet. We can go for such favorites as Snacktastics Nestastic, and strawberries and pickles, and my personal favorite, cheese on its own.
And our support lines are open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
You come on down here to Dial a Sandwich, where we take hygiene as carefully and as truthfully as we care for our bills.